Yes, even you don't see yourself.
Can you hear me, LSR there? Can you hear me? But I don't hear you. You need to unmute yourself.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Ready to go.
All right, good enough. Thank you, Ebenezer, for the work. Yes, gonna take a little time to get someone from the 3030 precinct into the meeting. So I'm texting CO, whoever this new CO is, I don't know. I'm just trying to get someone to so, if there's anybody from the 33 that's gonna show up today.
You can start off.
But thank you for being here tonight. Jacob Banas, my dear friend and colleague. What's your name today?
Oh.
You gonna introduce yourselves to the guest that we have today. My name is Eliezer Bueno. I'm the Public Safety Committee Chair. I'm here to serve, listen to whatever comments and grievances and channel them to the powers that be, whoever they are. So this is more of a conversation than it is a meeting that we have a table that's not dividing us, but we're just using it for comfortability, not necessarily that we want you to feel that, that there's a gap of a distance between us. So we like to have open conversations, civil, and make sure that the right authorities listen to us, because we are part of this community. So without further introduction, online we have Representative Jocelyn Minaya from the director of the Washington Heights District Attorney's Office. And as I said, Jacob Banas, and my dear friend, whose name I will not mention until she speaks herself.
And I am the assistant chair to the Public Safety Committee, and I pretty much focus on making sure we get our appropriate precincts present, and make sure that our community has a safe space to advocate for themselves and hold the appropriate city agencies accountable to ensure they follow up with us as necessary.
That's a little job, could be complicated at times, depending on the issues. They're a little touchy, sometimes gets a little testy, but it's a conversation mostly. It's not nothing that, when people walk out that door, they at least felt like they were heard. Basically, that's what our goal is. So we're gonna start off by someone wants to be promoted as panelist.
City Sheriff, fellow board member.
Okay. How do you do that? Let me see if I remember.
I can.
You could do it.
I can give it a shot.
Yeah, I just don't remember how. And this is her. Because you right click. No.
Maybe we scroll down.
Remote friend. There you go.
Right, there we go.
Maybe she just promote everyone to panelist. Okay, Zona.
Okay.
Okay, they ask. So we're gonna start with Jocelyn Minaya from the district attorney's office to see if there's anything in relevance that she'd like to give us an update on. Jocelyn, floor is yours.
Can we know who's in the room with you also, Eleazar? You introduced us, but
You guys want to say your name for the minutes? Thank you, Jocelyn.
Can they see us or?
Yeah. This camera, it actually is voice activated. So when you speak, it just zooms into you. So when you speak, I'm speaking now, so it's zooming into me. Now, when you say your name, it's gonna go to you and everyone else.
So it's videoing us, right?
Yes, it will be live streamed in YouTube, Facebook, and of course, the Zoom call.
Okay,
So this will be the camera and the audio and.
This is everything.
that's everything, that's it.
All right, well, hello, my name is Christian Prendergast. I am son of Katie Marie Presley and also the brother of Corey Prendergast. I'm also a tenant at I don't know if we should disclose all.
Yeah, of course, if you feel comfortable.
Right.
Tenants in Washington.
We're tenants in Washington Heights. I'm also an essential worker. I've been an essential worker now going on 20 years. I work all through COVID. I take care of people with kidney failure, renal failure. Like I said, I take care of people's grandmothers, people's grandfathers, people's aunties, people's uncles, people's sons, everybody's family. I help to keep life going. I'm in the renal field. So I'm here today to speak on the issue that's going on with the domestic terrorism that's going on with people terrorizing my mother, terrorizing my brother, terrorizing me, and the failure of the 33rd precinct to make an arrest with all the evidence that we have here. So I got off work early today and I made myself available because this is very important. I'm very concerned with the safety of my mother, my family, and also myself.
I'm very happy to have you here. Thank you. All right, so.
Hi. Yes, thank you for having me. Good evening, my name is Katie Marie Presley. I'm a resident.
We can't hear.
Can you hear her now?
Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, wonderful, thank you. Thank you all for having me. My name is Kadian Marie Presley. I am a resident of Washington Heights. I've been a resident since 2016, the summer of 2016, but I moved there with my family. My son Corey, then my other son joined me in 2017. We've lived there in the building. My landlady was a senior. We didn't have any issues apart from maybe repairs. Had a great relationship with the neighbors. And in 2020, during the COVID, we had 8 people that came in and said the woman had died the night before, and they came in and practically terrorized us and, assaulted us, and so many criminal things have been done to us. And we have contacted the 33rd precinct, the attorney, the police, everyone that you could speak to, our senator, senator's name, Robert Jackson, Senator Cordell Clear, because I used to live in that district. And I find that, as a senior, nothing has been done. I have spent like almost 8 years doing a master's degree in marriage and family therapy. I'm a problem solver. I don't, normally have conflicts that cannot be resolved, but I find it strange that within 3 years, no one has been arrested, no conflict has been resolved. And I find it very strange at the kind of terrorism that has been launched at myself and my family. When I get up on the news and I see terrorism, we're thinking of it in Israel or in the Middle East. No, it's been here. All that has happened in my home and where we live has been nothing but tactics to get us out the building by people who came in there and stated that they were landladies or landlords without paperwork. We have taken them to court. They have produced documents that they are not the owners, but they still terrorize us. I've been assaulted on September the 8th I was assaulted before that, and my sons, and September the 8th of this year, and I had a concussion in my face. I was hospitalized for 3 days, and the person who has done it has not been arrested. I've had a meeting with Captain Natalia on the 13th, my son Corey and myself, and about 13 other members of the police department, including Sergeant Espinal, and these people have not been arrested. They have posed themselves as police officers. When they came into the building, they have collected rent. That was an intimidation tactic. They have even stated on camera in front of the police that they work for NYPD. I consider that impersonating an officer. They have not been arrested. With all the assault, turning off of our electricity for 4.5 months, I have had no gas. I've had no electricity. I don't cook. I have to eat out. Okay. And now the winter is coming. I don't even think we're going to have heat. And they have sabotaged every kind of, equipment in the building. They have also set up illegal cameras that have stalked all the residents, including a legally blind tenant in the building on the second floor that we had to actually help to protect. He has also charges against them, which they have not followed up with. And I find it very strange. But as we dug deeper, we found out that these individuals are intricately connected to the 33rd precinct. This is what I have found out. And I have found out that even the detective that is working on the case has a record of assaulting Black males and Hispanic males. And I choose to say that I do not want him on the case because this is not looking very good for us. What happened? My son, Corey, this is the second job today, they called him. He works in the field, where he cannot get any kind of record. He has been released from his job. He has lost his job today because of this incident. When we called the police, when my sons called the police at the 33rd precinct on October the 18th to report that they have the perpetrators in sight, they came and they arrested my 2 sons. They arrested them for having tools in their hands, not threatening, not doing anything. They arrested them. And my son Corey back there has lost his livelihood and his income. And this is the second time. They have no criminal records. They have no prior charges. These individuals who are in the building, was 8 of them, now it's 4 or 5 of them. They have every kind of criminal records, felony charges. They have not been arrested. They are roaming the streets, and they have bragged to me that they will never be arrested because they know the police. So I don't know what's going on here. I'm asking that there be a federal investigation. I'm going above the 33rd precinct. We have sent information to the FBI to report the entire matter, because this is very serious. We have also sent report to the community CCBR? CCRB.
Investigation.
Yes, Internal Affairs, and we have sent it out because
District Attorney's Office.
the District Attorney Office has a case. I fear for my life, even as I'm talking, my heart is pounding. I'm 60 years old, I'm a senior, I have a disability, okay, and I'm finishing up just 6 weeks into receiving a master's degree in marriage and family therapy. I'm not even allowed in peace to do my homework, and I have to fear going into the building for 3 years now. But 3 years I've had to record myself coming and going because I've been taunted, I've been harassed, I've been sexually assaulted, pressed up against the door with a man with an erected penis, and nobody has arrested him. What am I supposed to do? You can check my background record. I've never had a criminal record, neither my sons. And I stand here before you as a victim of people who claim that they are violence preventers. You have Corey Hightower that works with Street Corner Resources. Okay, they get funding from the mayor's office. This individual lives in the basement and has turned off the light, domestically terrorized me, put dog feces all over my floor, pissed and urinated on my clothes. I had 2 home attendants 2 days per week that used to come. They have stopped because of the violence in the home, because they have stopped the home attendants and they have threatened these people. I have medical records right there. I now have no home attendant. My health services, they refuse to come in the building because these women are scared. So now not only do you have the residents being scared, you have people who are in there to assist me not coming. So my services have been cut. I'm asking for an immediate investigation into the matter. When we met with Sergeant Natalia, they said that they was going to issue warrants for these people for assault, which they assaulted poor in October 29, 2020. The door was kicked in. They kicked into our doors and woke him up and kicked the doors down, pulled him out the apartment and assaulted him. The police officers stated that it was trespassing. They damaged everything in the hallway. I had a few things in the hallway which our former landlady had me put there because we have had leaks in the building. We have it well documented. And she told me I could just put it in a container there. They came in. She wrote a premeditated letter. This owner, the week before, told me that she was going to destroy everything. Not only did she destroy the property, she also assaulted my son. They have just changed that trespassing to assault in March or February of this year, and they did not inform Corey. Why? Because the statute of limitation would run out and he would not be able to prosecute them. Nobody has been charged. And I do believe, I hate to say it, but I do believe that the 33rd precinct, somebody in the 33rd precinct is working with this lady, Christine Jordan, and every one of those men in that building, because they have such high authority to come and do what they want to do and no accountability. I fear for my life when I'm coming and going. I had people on the phone. I had her on the phone coming down the stairs. I never leave the building without somebody on the phone because I don't know where they're gonna come from. They're in the basement. They have occupied the first floor, on the second floor, and they occupy on the third. We are surrounded by them. We cannot go anywhere. And I'm asking for help. I fear for my life. Please do not wait until I'm killed in that building. I have a spinal procedure that my spinal cord is supposed to be operated on this for 9 hours. I have to put it off because I don't want it to be a cripple in there walking around and they assault me. And I have no nurse's aid. And this is all documented in my medical record. I have put off having spinal surgery for 6 months because I fear that I will not be able to run away. The bathrooms are in the hallway. I have communal bathrooms. Therefore, when I'm not there, I have to use the bathroom in the hallway. We don't have private bathrooms. They watch us on the camera. They know when my sons are not there and they assault me. They stalk me. I'm fearful for my life. I have to shower when my sons are home. I cannot shower, or if the nurse's aide was there, I used to shower. No, I have no nurse's aide. So I have to wait till my sons come home before I can shower. Sometimes I pee in the bucket because we have to look on the camera. And if they're upstairs, I'm not going out there. So I pee in a bucket and I save that pee until my son comes home. And I'm not ashamed to say it. Please, somebody help me.
Okay,
I need
so
help.
we, not that I wanna call you off, but I wanna jump in to say
Yes.
that this representative from the 3-3, who's now part of the call,
Yes,
who's listening
yes, ma'am.
and taking note
Yes,
of your complaints.
yes.
He's gonna give his report
Mm-hmm,
and hopefully can get more information. I'm sure that this is a private matter who,
mm-hmm.
you know, neither you, your sons, or the precinct wants to be live broadcasted to the world. I'm sure that there has to be a conversation
Mm-hmm.
about such a serious allegations and things that you've been suffering.
Yes, 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 sir.
so
Over 3 years. Yeah.
I'm gonna give Sergeant Rodriguez the
Mm.
floor to give his report as he usually does every week, every month, and then we're gonna try and not, without getting into intimate details, but
Mhm.
to at least have you open the door for a further conversation between both parties.
Yes,
Does it make sense to
It
you?
makes sense. And we have had this conversation on the 13th of September with 15 brass in the room. You couldn't want more than the captain. We've
But
had a
maybe this,
conversation.
have faith, maybe this is the time.
And I know, I'm not angry at
Okay.
anyone. Trust me, I'm just a little nervous.
You'll
pardon
be
me.
fine. You're so
You know,
sincere.
I'm just a little, my heart is beating because after 3.5 years and I'm in my clinical stage of seeing clients, I'm in internship. So I'm talking to people about stress and anxiety and I'm going through my own. Can you imagine how I feel? I'm trying to calm people. I see at least 5 to 10 clients per day. And I have to talk to them in a normal manner and just act as if I'm okay, which I'm not. So I beg you to please understand that my situation is so peculiar. and I would not make this up.
Yeah,
But this is where I am right
you're
now.
in the right place. You'll be fine.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
We're not finished yet. Don't go
Okay.
too far.
Thank you.
Sergeant Rodriguez, you're gonna go ahead and have your report and then try and figure out a way that,
I'm gonna put that there so you guys
we
can see
can-
it too.
yeah, can you, it's a shame that you cannot see him, but maybe you can hear him. You gotta unmute yourself.
You can't see me?
Now we can. Now we can hear you. Perfect.
Should be able to see it too.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry I'm a little late. The email told me 7 p.m. So, I'll get started. For now, so I'll get started with the 28-day period. So in the 28-day period for the 3-3 precinct, we are down 6.1% in overall crime, which consists of all the index crimes. So we're down 40% in robberies for the 28-day period. We're up 15% in assault felonies. We're down 16% in burglaries. We're up 18% in grand larcenies. And we're at 0% as far as the grand larceny autos are concerned for the 28-day period.
Do we have any questions for the 33rd precinct
Regarding the numbers.
regarding the report?
Yeah. Within your crime statistics, which one of them you'd consider them to be violent nature crimes?
All right, so it will be robberies and felonious assaults. But we're down in robberies 40%, which is good. We're up 50% in felonious assaults, which can be like an assault with a weapon or somebody with serious physical injury.
Okay, I also know, I saw it on the news that issued the crime committed at 165th had already been resolved. Would you want to give the audience and everyone here an update coming from your own self?
Okay, so I'm not sure if anybody knows what happened there, but there were 2 homicides that happened on 165th and Edgecombe. Person who we believe to have done it is in custody right now. I can't give too much detailed information on it because it's still pending a case, but a person we have strongly believe is the person who did it is in custody right now.
Okay, and the issue at hand, were you able to listen to what the lady was referring to her situation at her home and the harassment case, and were you able to listen to some of it?
Yes, I know. I'm aware of that situation. I can't talk about it on camera.
Okay, is there any possible way in which there could be a future meeting that she can come into the precinct and speak to someone who is in charge of the case, or what's what is the next step possible for her?
It's a lot of moving parts. It's a lot to this. I just can't get into it.
So who can get into it with them on a private matter?
I mean, the sons have come and spoke with the committee officer already in person. As far as the mom, she can come sit down with me. I could go to her.
That's good.
Yeah, but I'd like a representative from here to accompany me. I don't want to ever sit in that precinct ever by myself again, because I'm not feeling safe anymore. I don't think if something happened to me, I could call 911. I never feel safe anymore after what has happened.
We called 911 and they unlawfully arrested us.
My sons.
After we called 911 on the people who were supposed to be, wanted.
Police refused to arrest them and they have police reports.
If that was the case, they should have arrested all of us.
Right.
So
it's
after they arrested them,
is trying to protect these individuals and have some sort of personal relationship with them. And it's not trying to do their job, because the same officers that came and took out police reports are the same ones that came and arrested them and let those individuals go free. And they run and ride to our apartment about an hour and a half after police left, and it's all called.
while we were being fingerprinted and mugshot, they went right back upstairs and burglarized our place. We got
With a baseball bat, they were looking for my mother with an intent to commit.
And they ripped off
Yeah, the same guy who assaulted her on the 8th.
The same
who returned on camera with the baseball bat to assault her. So he thought she was up there by herself, so if there's a lot of moving parts, you can lessen the moving parts by showing up and making an arrest, but it seems like the precinct has some sort of a personal inside relationship with these individuals where for the past 3.5 years, they've refused to make any arrests. So
After they stated in the meeting that they had with my brother,
we had a meeting inside there with them October 13th.
What's inside where?
Sergeant Brian Natale, Sergeant Sandy Espinal, Brian Adams, Detective Bell, a couple of other community ambassador meetings in the district attorney's office. They all said that they were gonna make an arrest. They showed up, they didn't arrest these individuals. So it's clearly something going on internally that needs to be taken care of. And I spoke to Carmen De La Rosa, and she said she would send a representative with us to accompany us to any more meetings with the precinct.
And what happened?
we don't trust.
He came up with a baseball bat, he assaulted.
With Carmen De La Rosa, did she send anyone with you?
We're still working with them. We have a meeting set up with them, set up a meeting with them to try and get some representatives to come with us.
Okay, that's good.
I was gonna say, did the DA get involved in something like this?
Yeah, they were on the phone with us.
They were on the phone.
I think they have a lot,
We met with them twice.
I'm saying from my perspective as a community board member, the DA has a lot more ability to be helpful to you than someone on our committee.
Yeah.
We're at the end of the day, we're just citizens, you know?
It's okay, we are too. We are
Right.
too.
Right.
And, we are not police officers, we're not law
Right,
enforcement,
right.
but we are law abiding voters.
Right.
Nothing like this in my entire life. I had to wait to be 60 years old to have this happen to me. So I'm not taking it like an isolated incident because it has happened repeatedly, weekly, monthly, and ongoing. And we haven't had a break since these people took over the building. Other people can celebrate Thanksgiving and Halloween or whatever. They came and tore down my religious things off my door. They tore down my cultural things, everything. He took with a baseball bat. He ripped off 2 cameras and he's not arrested. That's anti-Semitism.
So let me, Jocelyn, I think they mentioned that they had already met with you. Is there anything that your office has done?
I have not met with them, and at this point, like Sergeant Rodriguez, I'm not at liberty to speak. Unfortunately, there's an open matter before the DA's office, and for their own protection, we're not at liberty to speak to them because the case is before us. There's a case before us now, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay,
It's a separate case, not the previous case.
So here's.
The individual, that's a separate case, that's totally different.
Yeah, I understand. I just don't wanna turn this into a court. And we're not. So who we are.
This is people's court.
Exactly.
What I'm gonna suggest is if they are concerned about walking into the precinct, and they are working with Carmen's office to have someone from Carmen's office go with them or something like that, I'm gonna encourage that. They have a complaint that they want to see through. They are well within their rights to go into the precincts and make a complaint. They're stating they don't feel safe doing so alone and they want someone to accompany them. If Carmen's office is willing to facilitate that and is working with them, then I'm going to encourage them to continue doing that because they can go into the precinct to make the complaint for the allegations set forth tonight.
Do you have a date for that?
Or do you have a date for this?
No, we have to set up a meeting with them to arrange that. I'm waiting to hear back from them, so probably in the next day or two, we should have a date.
Keep us in the loop.
Yeah.
Once you have that date, let us know. Who do you have a direct person that you've been in contact with here? Speak to that person and then we'll come back next month and we'll do it again until we all get the results that I think this matter deserves. And we'll be what we have been. We were designed to do is be the watchdogs of processes.
I didn't even know that there was a district attorney's office.
Yes.
All right.
It's so ironic. I've been going to the 7th Avenue. I don't think.
When did you just learn that today?
I just learned that today.
When you came?
Well, Miss Presley, I've been on the phone with Corey. This is not new. This has been something that's been going on for almost 3 years. And originally, Mr. Presley had been speaking to me directly. Somehow they gravitated toward our Harlem office for whatever reason, and it's fine. You know, Harlem, Washington Heights, we're all one office. But your son Corey knew we were here because he knew there was a Washington Heights office. Him and I have spoken numerous times throughout the years.
Well,
This is the first time I'm seeing you, but I have spoken to Corey before.
Oh, okay, well, I didn't know. Maybe I should speak for myself. I did not know because most of the time, you know, I'm home, I could walk up here. I didn't know.
Okay, I understand that. I just wanted to put it on the record and make it clear that I have been in contact with your family before.
Okay, thank
I
you.
have something to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
I came from work today. As you see, I have my scrubs on. I've been in the medical field for 19 years. And like I said, I take care of, I help to prolong life. And I take care of people's grandmothers, people's family, aunties, uncles, sisters. I cannot do my job at peace, taking care of, I'm a public servant, just like the police. Okay, so I can't do my job and know that my mother has no protection. It's not right. This is my only mother. She raised 3 children by herself. We never got into any drugs. We never got into any gangs. We never got into any street violence. This is the first situation with these guys. And they could have terrorized me and my brother. They could have jumped me. They could do whatever they want, but they wait. They put up cameras to watch us. I go to work very early in the morning. I come home very late. I got off early today. So they watch us and they do nothing. They wear their pants hanging off their ass. They're walking around. They're terrorizing people. Excuse my French, but I'm very upset. My blood pressure has been very high since this situation. And I take care of people with high blood pressure and diabetes. It's the #1 killer. Okay, so I'm very distraught. That arrest that happened on the 18th of October, 5 days after they had this meeting where this guy's supposed to have a warrant for 2nd-degree felony assault, for larceny and all these things. And then we see them, we call the police. Okay, we see them. We weren't trying to see them, but we saw them and we called the police. We held restraint. We did not touch them. If that was the case, we all should have been arrested. How were we being fingerprinted and mugshot and they were ransacking our apartment and had the ability to go up there and rip our secondary camera off? Something isn't right. Something isn't right. And we're not stupid people. We're very educated people. This woman here, she put her life on hold to raise us. So at the end of the day, personally, I know y'all have mothers. And if your mothers aren't here, I know if you could hear her voice, you'd run and hug up her bones. You got to understand how we feel as men. Okay? These guys, they stand outside the building all day. They don't work. They smoke weed outside the building, inside the building. Okay? They terrorize us as tenants. They talk this, they talk that. They have control over our mail. Okay? They have manipulated her electricity in her apartment for 3 years. My mother has had heat stroke. Many times the food has spoiled in her refrigerator. Okay, no electricity. Con Edison has come. They said, we want to get in the basement. We can fix it. The building is old. We just need to put new breakers. They control the basement. Who these people are, we don't know. I'm a very civil individual, very diplomatic. She raised us like that. We're not thugs. So this whole arrest thing that happened and this whole thing now and how the police was dealing with us, which allowed them to go back up to the 3rd floor the very same night and burglarize our stuff, rip off all her stuff off the door. It started at 5:30 that day when we saw him on the Ring camera. I was sitting on the treatment floor. I said, wait, isn't this guy supposed to be arrested? He came up there with bolt cutters and cut the chains off my mother's car. This guy should be in lockup. He was supposed, what's going on with the 33rd precinct? We just want to know. They flipped it like we're the criminals. I came in my scrubs today to let you know I'm not a criminal. And it's a good thing I work in a private sector, or else I would have lost my job. This is the 2nd job my brother has lost. This is a serious matter. And I'm willing to go to Washington if I have to. Okay? I am very pissed. And I can't even hold back the tears. I am pissed, livid. I don't wear my pants off my ass. There isn't any dookie in my butt. These guys are all on camera. The police, we're the good guys. Today I went to lunch and I find myself walking around Manhattan. I'm saying to myself, damn, this is the city of Gotham. Where's Batman when you need him? Because the police sure ain't doing their job. This is deplorable. It's inhumane. Putting dog feces all over my mother's belongings, urinating all over her belongings.
Getting paid by the city of New York.
And this is someone who is employed by Street Corner Resources, who is supposed to be an anti-violence nonprofit, who's getting paid through the mayor's office. And you mean to tell me this is going on and my mother's a senior? I'm willing to go to Washington myself. Because if this doesn't get straightened out, if these charges aren't dropped, or something isn't done, or this isn't sorted out, or whoever needs to make a call to say this, I'm going to Washington myself. And then someone else is going to take it over, and they're going to say, how did all this happen? This looks bad. A lot of times things fester because people don't do their jobs. When I go to work, I'm very thorough. I have lives in my hand. I have lives, people's family members in my hand. I expect the same type of courtesy and respect from police officers when it comes to my mother. We pay our taxes. This is deplorable. It's deplorable. And my pressure has been high because of all of this. And I'm trying to keep myself well because I take care of sick people. But I don't understand this whole thing with the police and this and that and this and how you lock us up and you allow the criminals who you know are criminals to ransack our place.
Order of protection against.
Right. How does the
There's an order of
how does the
protection.
district attorney's office issue an order of protection for an individual who has 2 criminal felony assault
Against
charges?
us.
Against the
He's
people
been
who he's
protected
assaulted.
now against my
Right,
son.
how does he have an order?
Went to
Hold on,
court.
hold on.
Can I just please, the district attorney's office does not issue orders of protection. Orders of protections are issued by criminal court judges, not by the DA's office. They're issued by the criminal court judge at arraignment.
I think,
Just to make it clear.
Assault charges out on.
yeah, I think,
He has 2 felony assault charges out on.
so I really don't want to cut you off. It's not feel for you, the both of you. Yeah. Now,
All I'm saying is straighten it out,
I think,
please.
and I,
Before it goes to Washington and it hits 2020 in the news, I think you guys just need to just straighten it out.
yeah, I think that knowing who they are, at least these people, I don't want to talk about the entire city of New York, but I want to talk about process and the people involved in this process that I know, who are those persons in the call. Expects results. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm saying to you.
I fear for my safety. I fear for my mother's safety. I fear for my brother's safety. I have called my family all over the world, from Europe to the islands, to let them know what's been going on. If something happens to us, contact the BBC and let them know the 33rd precinct has the case. I'm not playing. I'm not playing. She didn't raise us to be thugs. She didn't raise us to be criminals. And at this point, if someone is not doing their job, they should be disciplined for it.
Okay, so now that we got most of the facts in place, they're here, the DS office is here. So now it's on them to continue on and make sure that this process ends in a good note for whoever the guilty parties are. And I'm gonna leave it at that because I don't wanna continue to
And it's with reason too, why you have so much frustration and concern, and I totally support where you're coming from. And within everything you're sharing with us, there's multiple crimes being brought forward from your perspective. So let's see how being in a public space could hold certain offices more accountable
We want
and increase the
Detective
transparency.
Sandy Espinal off the case. We looked up his record. It's public. He has a lot of misconduct. He has a lot of things on there. He met with my brother and he was the one Sandy Espinal was the one that stated that they would be arrested for larceny and also assault. And I don't know.
I was on the phone with Sandy Espinal about 45 minutes before we called the police and they falsely accused and arrested him. So I was on the phone with him on his cell phone.
If he's dirty, we want him off the case. Bottom line.
Just to add, a representative from Carmen De La Rosa's office is seeking to get your family's name in efforts to follow up with you. So,
Was it the Foster's?
We have a national.
Talking about Jamila Sandoval? You spoke to her?
Not Jamila James.
James is the deputy staff. But
And I emailed the.
yeah, Jamila
I could give her our information again. I just emailed her yesterday.
Foster's, right?
Well, is she the schedule? Jamila the schedule?
Jamila, she's the deputy,
No, I have not spoken to her yet.
yeah, she's on the call.
Okay.
I have a national advocate, Tina Alfano on the phone, and she just wanted to say 2 minutes of what, if you'll allow her. She's been on the Zoom and she's on the meet. She's a
What's her name?
advocate. Tina Alfano.
I think she's on the Zoom.
Tina Alfano, and she's on it. Is she on the Zoom?
I think so.
Yeah, she's right there.
She's there, can you bring her
Yeah,
up?
you can, she doesn't have to do it.
Oh, I don't need a phone,
No,
okay.
but then
Tina,
you can-
Are you on the Zoom link?
she's on the Zoom.
you can let Tina know that I promoted her.
Okay, you can
She can
go
speak now.
ahead now, Tina, you are on. Join, yes, and I'll let,
Tina, we'll give you 2 minutes, Tina.
2 minutes, Tina.
I don't think I can hear her through the Zoom.
We can't hear you at all. You have to unmute yourself.
Unmute. Martina, because yeah. What happened? Just speak. No,
We just let her do the phone.
Tina, I'm on the phone with you. No, they can hear you on the phone, but I don't know.
Just put her phone right.
Okay, you just put the
Ask
phone.
them if they can hear me.
They
Go
can.
ahead.
Go ahead, Tina.
Yes?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right, so, hold on, guys. I had an eye operation today. Give me a second.
Go ahead,
Okay, can
Tina.
you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so my name is Tina Alfano. I am a national people, child, and senior advocate. I work on cases like this all around the country, okay? I'm also a personal friend of Kay and her 2 sons. I've known them for 8 years. They are professional people. They are not thugs. They don't, do anything to hurt anybody. They actually help people, okay? And I have called internal affairs, okay? Right after I called internal affairs is when the boys got arrested, okay? There is something going on here. I have never, ever saw anything go past maybe a couple of months. This is 3 years. 3 years of this woman getting assaulted, okay? And they're saying an assault was harassment. There is something completely wrong here, and we are, going to go to Washington if this is not taken care of, and have it investigated, because there's something terribly wrong. Imagine your mother, this happening to your mother, and you have anxiety just to leave her in a place. She lost everything, okay? She lost things that were her personal things in the bathroom. She lost her computer for her going to school. Her son just lost his job. This is like really serious stuff, guys. I don't know if you really understand the complexity of what is going on. I have never seen anything like this, okay? With a nonprofit, okay, I donate dogs to the FBI and law enforcement across the country, okay? I asked them what they thought, and they were like, they were stunned. They're like, 3 years? I'm like, listen, her boys just got arrested, okay? So what happened was this. When they got arrested, right, they made sure
sorry,
everybody
Tina.
was out of the house.
Sorry,
Okay, and
Tina.
then these thugs went upstairs and went through it. She got a concussion. He kicked the door in, this dude.
Tina.
Okay.
Tina.
All right, weeks before that. He
Tina.
gave her a concussion.
Tina.
She could have been
Couldn't hear
killed.
you.
Okay, she still got the concussion. She's still going back
Just let her know
to
that.
the doctors.
Tina, the 2 minutes is up. Okay, sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. The
Thank
2
you,
minutes
Tina.
is up. I gotta take you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna follow up, in regards to this. I think that,
Yeah, your 2 minutes.
the city agencies involved in this have got the message, and we want to see if we can move forward with our agenda tonight.
Yeah.
So we want to appreciate, give thanks to the family for coming out tonight to share it with
Thank you for the coverage.
everyone. Now the entire community has access to this information. This is all live. This is all recorded. And one of the things we've been talking about since last month is prevention. And we've seen it in our community when individuals in our community step forward, talk to the precinct, take the preventive measure to prevent a crime, and tragedy still happens. So our precincts, we're turning to you to look at you for some answers regarding this, and we hope that we can find some solutions for this family. All right, so we're gonna be here moving forward. All right, so thank you all for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us. We went to the Church of Ascension, and, you know, we went to support others who have other issues. And then I just felt I wasn't on the agenda, but, you know, I'm not just here for me. I'm here for anyone who has ever been a victim of anything. Because I'm on different committees, and I find it very, you know, it's strange. I'm hearing this, as I said, in my practice. In 6 weeks, I get a master's degree in all of this stuff. And now I'm hearing and I can't solve my own issues. So how do you think I feel? I feel like my hands have been tied, and I'm just, you know, going on the water. I've tried to deal with it with civility. There is nothing in there that said we have ever retaliated against these people. But it's just going on. It's snowballing. It's getting into 2024. You know, we have concerns about safety and other people in other countries, but we are here in the neighborhood and we're not safe.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
think
And that's all I'm saying.
our biggest concern is for you and your sons to be safe.
Yeah, to be safe, that's it.
That's,
I've
the
never
life-
feared so much in my life.
life is too precious
I-
to,
I'm afraid to walk outside of the
yeah,
building.
unless one of you has any more comments to make as board members, I want to give you 2 minutes and then we're gonna go move on to the next item in our agenda. What's your name, sir?
BJL7. I had a couple of questions. So I know before you said that you were not really sure what you could get done.
We didn't say that. But
Oh, okay, that's, okay, maybe I misheard you, but the thing is that being a community board, maybe you guys have direct access to the mayor's office, maybe you can get this addressed. If it doesn't move forward within a certain timeline, and also, another thing that I wanted to ask was, the press, right? The thing is that we've been contacting some little small local, newspapers and things like that, maybe you guys also have some, or not-for-profits, but then you think that goes, so I'll address it. I'll more connected to the press line. If any of that, might kind of top your head right now.
tell you offline. Okay? Don't leave yet. So, thank you. Don't leave just yet. Our next guest from the 34th, I believe, should be, from the 34th, Perez. Are you there?
Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Officer Navarrete from the 34th Precinct. I'm the crime prevention officer. Unfortunately, Perez nor the inspector was able to make it, so I'll be addressing today for the 34th.
Yeah, go ahead, sir. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. So I'm going to be going over some stats, and then I'll take questions at the end. So far, 34th Precinct for the 28-day period, we have an overall reduction in 17.9% in overall crime. For murder, we're at 0. For rape, we're up 50%, 3 versus 2. We're down 33.3% in robbery. We're up 29.2% felony assault. We are down 73.3% in burglaries. That's 4 versus 15. It's a big reduction in burglary. We're down 24.1% in grand larceny. And we're even in grand larceny auto. being that there's still some time towards the end of the year and we're flat in grand larceny auto, I myself have been doing outreaches in regards to the what many people may know now is the TikTok challenge with Hyundai and Kias. What I have done is I've been mailing registered owners of Hyundai and Kias in regards to free software updates that are available at the dealership that they can do to prevent their vehicles from being stolen, as well with some flyers that provide them with some tips on how to prevent their car from being taken. Aside from that, I could be taking questions now.
Go on.
Anybody? The 3-4.
Quick, mopeds and the murder at 185th Street in San Nicolas, updates.
Hi, good evening. I have a question for the 3-4, if possible. There's nobody
Yeah.
ahead of me.
Yeah, let him answer these two questions and then you could be next.
Of course, thank you.
All right, thank you, sir.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, mopeds, how we're doing with the initiative that you guys had in capturing as many unlicensed moped drivers as you were in the past month. I believe you had 75 that you guys are already taken away from these drivers. How's the initiative coming? Have you gotten more? And the incident in 185th Street in St. Nicholas, where a person was murdered, is there any updates on that case?
I don't have information in regards to the 185th Street homicide. The numbers, the percentages that I gave over in regards to the murder being 0, that is a 28-day period. I don't have information. I can take down the notations for that question and have an answer for the next meeting. I don't have information in regards to that. In regards to the mopeds and enforcement for mopeds, we continue to do enforcement on mopeds. And for those who are either driving recklessly or illegally driven mopeds, and what I mean by that is unregistered, we have been seizing them. I don't have an exact number, but yes, to answer your question, we are continuing to work on the mopeds.
What do you know about the 185th Street homicide?
That was happened 2 months ago.
2 months ago.
Yeah,
And
so they
trying-
hadn't captured anyone, so I just wanted to see if
Okay.
there was any.
Nothing recent.
Nothing recently, yeah.
Taking down notes that question about the 185th Street, and I'll make sure that gets answered for next meeting.
Thank you.
All right, who was?
Anthony had a question.
Hi, yes, good evening. Thank you all for being with us here today. So mine basically issue is that for literally almost similar to the family before, but not as crazy, but for the last 3 years, have a neighbor or individual who visits a family member who lives in my building on the first floor, and I believe the individual suffers from autism, possibly, and for literally hours out of the day. And I'm unemployed right now, but when I was working from home for the DOE, I had to like deal with this, literally from the morning to the night. But he'll scream for hours and hours in front of the window, and they don't do anything to kind of minimize the situation or keep him at least calm or attend to him, and they're his guardians, and he'll scream for just hours on top of his lungs. And I wish I was exaggerating like on how long this goes on, but it's for like hours and hours and hours, and like the super has spoken to them. I've even tried writing them a letter, just very nice and understanding, but it's just to a point where it can go on 3-4 hours at a time, literally just screaming, ah, and I'm concerned, like if he's okay, like I'm not sure, and I don't want to call 911 because I don't want them to come, so it's, I feel for, the family, and, I understand what's going on, but at the same aspect, it's like, where can, we have our, my piece of time to like work or, do anything like that. And it comes through my windows, and it's, yeah, I mean, it's just a little, excessive, especially for going on 3 years every day for 5-6 hours at a time.
Have you, and I'm sure you've called, 311 or 911.
Correct. So I've done 311, and then, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a person with who needs mental help. So
Sorry, I have a
guess.
question.
But just speaking.
Yes, was 911 called in regards to this?
So no, so because I've actually called, like in the beginning I had called like once, and they were like, this is not a 911 matter, it's 311. So they transferred me to 311, and then the 3-4 dispatched somebody to come out, and they were like, oh no, either like no issues found, or they'll come and say the issue has been resolved, and then it's nothing. And then there's been times where I'm like paying, close attention, and nobody ever comes, and they'll put that they've came.
Okay, so first off, if you feel that the child or the person may be in any type of danger for themselves or anything like that, it is a 911 call. And it's important to state that to the 911 operator, that you believe that someone is in distress or someone is in danger, and what you hear, and give them descriptions of, and let them know exactly the location of it. That's definitely 911, starting from there. Also, I'm not aware of your situation or that location. However, after this meeting, if you like, you can either call the precinct, or we actually have a forum tomorrow. We have our community council meeting tomorrow at the 34th precinct at 7 p.m. It's at 133rd Street and Broadway. If you like, you can come. If you can, if you can't make it, that's okay. You can call the precinct and ask for either the neighborhood coordination officer or myself. I'm the crime prevention officer, and I would be able to point you in the right direction. But we would need more information, and I think
Of course.
We may need
I'm sorry,
privately.
and I've called community affairs also, like, just because I like I said, I know that the kid's not in young man is not in danger, but it's just, as a guardian, you should be able to, I don't want to say control, but just attend to your your family member or whoever you're taking care of in the same aspect, not just to say, okay, they can take care of themselves, and I'm just gonna let them scream and do whatever they want around the block because I don't want to deal with it.
Like I said, we can discuss this afterwards. If you want to, if you're able to come to the community council meeting tomorrow, is that something you're able to do?
I should be able to, and it's at on 183rd, right?
Yes, 183rd and Broadway.
All right.
So this way we can meet a one-on-one, and we can get more information in regards to this.
Okay. Thank you again. And I know it sounds like, I'm being like a Karen or something about the situation, but it's just.
No, it's completely understandable. You're also concerned for that person, as well as you're trying to have some type of time to be able to do things around you in your apartment. So I really feel for you, and I understand where you're coming from. So I hope to see you tomorrow.
Yes, thank you again for your time.
Thank you. Hey, Tanisha, I see you have your hand up. Was it for the 33rd or the 34th?
Yeah, well, I've had my hand up for a minute. I think we need to coordinate better with our hybrid meetings to making sure that our community board members that are online have opportunities to speak as well. First, I want to say there's been an issue with street corner resources for a long time. I am a community organizer. I am out in the streets. Just the other day, I was hearing complaints about how they run their organization. I would love to assist all the people in the office that have an issue. So I will drop my email in the chat, and hopefully I will give it to them and they can reach out to me, since I'm on the ground every day. And I know Street Corner Resources. I know their executive director. I know how they run. So that is very concerning to me, what I heard. Second off, I'm very offended by Mr. Anthony, and I'm gonna tell you why. I have a grandson who is autistic. Sometimes he yells for hours. It's not that his parents aren't attending to him. It is that he is autistic. It is not a mental health issue. It is a neurological issue of his brain, of their brains. They cannot help that sometimes they scream and they yell. It literally makes them feel better. I feel sad that our community members might not have children or have ever had to deal with children who have autism. I feel sad that there's not enough services in the community to support our children with autism, but I feel very, very upset at saying because this child screams, but you know that his parents attend to him, that you would think to call 911. That is not the answer. I understand that it's uncomfortable.
I'm sorry, but I never said
No,
that.
I'm not finished talking.
I never said I called 911.
Listen, I didn't finish my statement. I haven't interrupted anyone here, and I would like the respect as well. I understand that it might be uncomfortable. I understand that it's years, that it's difficult, but that child cannot help that he screams. He cannot help it. It is not that his parents is not attending to him. It is not that my daughter doesn't attend to my grandson when he runs through the house screaming. It is a condition of children with autism. Now, if we could work to get this child more services and maybe get his parents some more support, but criminalizing him by calling 911, which usually leads to things like ACS, is out of order. It is totally out of order. And we cannot other people because they are not so-called normal. And I'm really disturbed by what I had heard. I'll yell back.
All right, and if I may comment, I apologize if that's the way it came off.
Mr. Anthony.
Yes, I apologize if that's the way it came off. It was not meant to come out. Yes. Oh, it was not meant to come out like that. I do have family members who,
Yeah, Mr. Anthony, the rules of engagement in a community board meeting is that there's no peer-to-peer or member-to-member or any kind of personal engagement. Think you made your point. She already made her point, and now we're gonna move forward, considering that what she said her opinion, and you've already voiced it very clearly that it was in your intentions to, other than just trying to help the situation. So, does anyone else have any questions on the 34th report, or is there anything that they feel that should be addressed while we have him on the call?
I don't have a question for the 34, but I do have a follow-up question to the 33rd. To a crime, car accident, pedestrian that was hit in the street last week. I believe it was last week, Wednesday night. It was the same night of our domestic violence walk here in the neighborhood. So I wanted to know, what's the update on that situation? Was somebody arrested? What happened to the victim? What's the update on that case?
Okay, so I can't get too much into detail on that as well, but the person did die. Person died, passed away. As far as the arrest is, I'm not sure yet. I don't have an answer on that. But the person stood on scene, the one that was driving the vehicle.
Can you repeat that last part?
The person that was driving the vehicle was on scene.
Oh, okay.
That day, I don't believe there was one, but I'm not sure if there's one to be happening in the future.
Okay. Do you know if the person who was driving was under any sort of, under the influence of anything, any alcohol, any drugs, anything like that?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Thank you.
If he was, he would have been immediately arrested on scene.
Okay. And unfortunately, that person was one of my neighbors, and from my understanding, he did pass. So just want to publicly share my condolences to his families and all the community members that were affected by that. Indiana, I see you have your hand up.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I was wondering, as a bit of follow-up from our meeting last month, if there had been any conversations at the precinct about trying to identify trends for who they were stopping for the mopeds. I'm still really interested as they're pursuing enforcement, right? To just try and get a sense of whether it's youth, whether it's, folks affiliated with like street vending, to just kind of like not drop that ball. So I'd love to know if there's been any conversation about that, in hopes of then identifying community partners that can help us, relay messages and liaise with for us. Thank you.
Is that an open question for both precincts or a specific one?
For either one
Either or. So Mr.
or both.
Yeah, Mr. 3-4, you want to take a shot at it?
I don't have specifics into exactly who are these people, the mopeds being taken from. I do know they are being the reasons why they are being taken from, which is to me is very important, is that these mopeds are being driven around recklessly on sidewalks, almost striking pedestrians, and we're just trying to increase pedestrian safety in the confines of the 34th precinct. And as well as we've also noticed recent trends in cell phone snatches with individuals utilizing these same mopeds. I don't have anything for
follow up.
Of course.
Point. Indiana, this is Jake. I just had a thought, which is I appreciate you following up on this, and I wonder if we may come at it from another direction. And I know last month you raised the question of whether or not folks whose mopeds were being taken were food delivery workers, and maybe instead of trying to get this data from the precinct, we can connect with the folks in the neighborhood who work in food delivery service and understand if that's an issue that's affecting them from that standpoint. Just an idea.
Yes, certainly. That'd be great. I'm just hoping, since like it keeps popping up, if we could just get a little bit more detail about who law enforcement is, I guess, encountering in this. If they've identified any trends, it would be helpful.
Yeah, I hear you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, precincts. Any final words?
No, any final words? Anything else that
I was just gonna say, anything from the 33rd precinct about that?
What, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, just if you guys had identified any trends in terms of the mopeds that you guys are seizing. Have you noticed it's youth? Is it street vendors? You may not have identified trends, but just wanted to follow up on that. Thank you.
The trends as far as the mopeds, right now, we see an increase in robberies from those mopeds. As far as how we take these mopeds from people, it's basically, first we see unregistered mopeds. They don't have a license plate. Then we see them commit multiple infractions, eat the light, drive recklessly. That's who we're taking the bikes from, if that's what you're asking.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so we're gonna finish off our agenda by having a report from Jocelyn Minaya from the Manhattan, the Upper Manhattan District DA's office, District Attorneys.
You're good. It's late, Eliasa. You're good.
Yeah.
So thank you for Mr. Chair, Jocelyn Minaya from the Manhattan District Attorney's Washington Heights office. I just wanted to give a brief update in terms of the double homicide that Sergeant Rodriguez reported on. As he said, there was an arrest. At present, the person arrested is being charged with murder in the second degree. Twice he was indicted through the grand jury, and he's due to be arraigned on November the 22nd. So murder in the second degree twice, amongst other charges. I, for one, want to commend the 3-3 precinct, especially their detective squad on the apprehension of this individual. As we heard last month, the community was very affected by this double homicide, actually a triple homicide, because he also killed a dog. Well, it wouldn't be considered homicide because it was a pet, but I'm just very happy that this person is off the street, and I just wanted to put that out there and commend especially Detective Rivas, who I know was working diligently and was kind enough to follow up with me every step of the way. So I'll keep the community board posted throughout the pendency of this case. And hopefully we will have wrap this up sooner rather than later with a punishment that is well deserved. I also wanted to thank Community Board 12 for participating in our 7th annual Shine the Light. I got to meet somebody's grandmother. She was absolutely awesome and my favorite person now. But we had a wonderful turnout. It was a wonderful event. Again, thanking my NYPD colleagues for walking us through, keeping us safe that night while we did our march against domestic violence awareness. For the community turnout. It was wonderful. And, domestic violence awareness is not just 1 month. As far as I'm concerned, it's a 365, 24/7 awareness, but I'm happy that we were able to put this event together and be in community to bring awareness on that. And then in that vein, the DA wanted to announce that he recently created a Special Victims Division Advisory Council. And the Advisory Council is comprised of community-based organizations and stakeholders. And it's really for us as an office to learn from the people that are also doing this kind of work on the ground, to learn, what we're doing, how we could do it better, what is needed, and really just raise the voices of victims and advocates to make sure that we're all working towards the same goal, which is to keep the borough safe and try to address the issues surrounding special victims in a manner where the community and the advocates and survivor services and legal services all have a voice and a say in the way that we do our work. So we're hoping to learn from them, to better enhance our services. So I'm very happy that that advisory council was created. And then finally, as the last part of our investment into our ongoing mental health investments, I did mention the investment, the RFP going to the bridge. And now the last leg of that is the RFP for $3 million going to the Fortune Society. And what they're going to do is run the criminal court navigators program. So we have the neighborhood navigators. Now we're going to have the court navigators. And basically, the Fortune Society is also a peer-based model. And we're going to have people in court, walking out with people after they're arraigned, making sure they're connected to services immediately out of arraignment, and making sure to create that connection so that they're coming back to court for their court dates or complying with any programming that the court mandates, and then also making sure they're connected to whatever resources they need, whether it be housing, again, mental health, substance abuse. The idea is really, again, just to end this revolving door that we have within the criminal court system for these low-level offenses of people that really just need assistance. So I'm very excited to work with the Fortune Society on this project as well. And that's all that I have on behalf of the DA's office today. Thank you.
Very cool. Rabbi, questions?
Thank you.
Any questions for Ms. Jocelyn Minaya?
You cover so much that it's hard to ask you any questions. It's all covered, all inclusive, right? Like the resorts. Thank you, Ms. Minaya. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jocelyn.
What do we have now from the FDNY?
All right, so next we have Sandra Sanchez from the fire department. We missed you, Sandra.
Is she a panelist?
Yes, I am. Good evening, everyone. Sandra Sanchez here at FDNY Community Affairs. I'm glad I was able to join you this time around. Jamina knows I'm an auntie again. So my nephew made it to this side nice and safe. and with a good pair of lungs, let me tell you that. Just want to share with you that fire season has begun, and it truly correlates with winter season here within New York City for many reasons. We find ourselves cooking more, which continues to be nationally the top cause of fire. And then secondly, heating season has begun October. And we know that as the weather begins to drop, today was a little cool. As the weather begins to drop, we know that when our homes and our living spaces are not heated properly, it's often left to the residents to become creative in the ways in which they heat their home using space heaters. But we just recommend that space heaters, just like any appliance, are not meant to be left running 24/7. There's simply, there's a time to just shut off, allow that heat to move throughout the room and turn back on, but certainly not meant to be running 24/7. We have on our website, FDNY Smart, all fire safety education information, seasonal tips that are prominent and can stick out in the mind that you can feel free to share with the community at large. But before I close, I'm just going to share with you the statistics for the month of October. So for structural fires in Manhattan Community Board 12, there were 47. For non-structural fires, there were 20.
Can you explain what a structural and a non-structural fire means?
Sometimes they're, like if a fire were to take a structural fire would be a fire in
an apartment,
in an apartment, a building space, where non-structural could happen like on your kitchen, like it can be confined to your stove. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not something that there may be damage, but it's limited and confined to a small dwelling space. Sometimes there are fires in the garbage chute. There are fires in other areas. Those are really what the differences are. For medical emergencies, there were 817. For non-medical emergencies, there were 482, and being the grand total of incidents in the confines of Manhattan Community Board 12 to be 1,401. To put that in perspective, for the entire borough of Manhattan, there were 15,233 incidents.
Out of which you said there was 1,000 just in Upper Manhattan.
1,401, but a lot of that, I can tell you that it's not fire necessarily, but it's medical emergencies. Medical emergencies vary. That truly is what what took the bulk of the issue. I'm like, if I'm going to do the math very quickly, over about 12, over 1,300 of that were medical emergencies.
Right, 1,000 fires is a lot, regardless. I know
one is too many.
Yeah, in the past we've done. I remember a year or two ago, we had like a fire prevention outreach program. I remember that there were little palm cards, flyers, and a lot of informational stuff that you guys were. I remember I remember some firemen that were actually out on the streets handing them out. You guys have any provisions or any plans for that kind of campaign this year?
We do. We are just, I think that we certainly do, in the light of, I'm not going to pretend like budget issues have not come knocking at the fire department. We certainly do. Particularly, we've just relaunched our Sound the Alarm program. At one point, it was called Get Alarm, but it was the same program in which we're reminding everyone, as we are falling back this Sunday, November 5th, we are reminding everyone that it is the perfect time to make sure that your smoke alarm, your first line of defense, is fully functional. And if you don't have a smoke alarm to test, we will work with you. The fire department and the Red Cross will work with you to get one or get as many as you may need installed in your space for free. So I can share that with you.
So there will be a campaign. You want to sharing it with our manager's office so that we can distribute it out to the entire community. And the councilman's office, Jamila Sandoval, is also inquiring to get a hold of some of that information. Jacob, I know that you were anyone else, Rabbi?
Quick question, I'm sorry, Mrs.
Sanchez, yeah.
In our building, I have smoke detectors, but because of what, the ongoing situation, I have noticed that many tenants don't have smoke detectors. In fact, 2 fires were started by a legally blind tenant who he could, he's blind and he's cooking and he doesn't have an attendant. And they don't have smoke detectors in other parts of the building, but the smoke came to the 3rd floor. And my son Corey is the one at 2 a.m. sounded the alarm. So, it's well documented by the fire department that we had 2 fires in there. So how do you cover our, this side of town that we could possibly get you in our building? Because that's one of the concerns. Plus secondly, when I had my lights off for 4.5 months, illegally turned off, I used batteries and stuff. But when I ran out of batteries from those flashlights, I was using candles. So I'm guilty, but there was no way I could sleep in that dark forever and just walk around. So, I'm not using candles now or anything like that, but I can understand why there are fires because a lot of the buildings do not have the proper, like mine, smoke detectors, and you have people cooking and blind people cooking and can't smell, can't see that there's a fire. And, but is it possible for my building, which is in Washington Heights, to be on the list? And how do we get on the list to get our building?
She's in Washington Heights too.
Oh, she's
the fire department, there's not a place where we won't go. That's the good news, right? So we do go to Washington Heights. Well, the only thing is that even though it's a building, we would have to work with your landlord, but we need the same way you're not allowed to come into my private home, we would need permission from every tenant. So perhaps we could have an offline conversation, but perhaps it's speaking, if there is a tenant association, speaking with them and then having a sign-up sheet. As a matter of fact, in the winter, we love what we call vertical installations. So we're not necessarily leaving and going to another building. We can spend a day in your building installing as many alarms as tenants are interested in having, but we cannot go without permission. We cannot go in without permission from the tenant, even if the landlord says it's okay.
Oh, okay, got it. Thank you. So I could get your information from our.
Yes. Everyone here, and most everyone here has my email, but you can, I'll share it again here. It's Sandra, that's SANDRA .Sanchez, SANCHEZ @fdny.nyc.gov.
Thank you, Janice, for that.
A message on behalf of Jamila from Councilwoman Carmen de la Rosa. Sorry, is that like, I put it out there in the future. So on behalf of her office, they want to share with everyone that please report the fires to Carmen de la Rosa's office so that they can ensure that the tenants know the resources that are available to them. Their office will be having a housing town hall on November 29th, and they will be inviting the Red Cross, FDNY, HPD, and DOP. And fire will definitely be one of the topics that will be discussed. Any other questions for our fire department?
Yes.
Go ahead, Indiana.
Thank you. I am relatively new to being a wheelchair user, and I was wondering, like, if there are any trainings or materials available for people with disabilities, or if there's anything. Like, I live on the 5th floor, and if there's a fire and I can't get down the elevator, I wouldn't be able to go down the stairs. Is there like a way to like put a sticker on your door or on your window, or to like indicate somehow to the fire department that you're a wheelchair user. I know there's actually another wheelchair user in my building, and we're wondering if there's any kind of steps we can take to be more protected in the event of a fire in our apartment building. Thank you.
Great question, Deanna. Let me speak to operations. I know that our goal, wheelchair user or not, is to get to get you out. So once we get to you, it's to get you out. Most people do not walk out. most.
Got it.
So I would say that portion we have covered, but let me check out so I can speak emphatically on that, and I'll circle back before the next meeting, okay?
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, I think that is the New York City Department of Correction, Sergeant Miller, are you there? I don't think I haven't seen him. I haven't seen him either.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, we
Hi.
can hear you.
Hi, good evening. This is Deb Alexis. I'm in for Superintendent Miller from Edgecombe Correctional Facility. How's everyone?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. This is my first phone call. I am so interested in what the conversations that have been shared, and I'm wishing the best to all the families who are going through their struggles and situations. I'm praying for things to work out well in that situation. But I can just give you a little highlight about Edgecombe. We're doing well as far as the residential aspect, and we will be opening hopefully later this month with the female transitional housing. We can house about 30 residents females. We know it's going to be a slow start, but we are preparing for them. And we continue to service the male residents. Our capacity is 70, and we're currently, I believe, at 42 at this time. And we have been good neighbors as well to the schools within our area. We will be donating turkeys for the Thanksgiving holiday. And we also donated, of course, at the beginning of the school year. So that's Edgecombe in a nutshell.
I have a question. About the turkey giveaways. Is that only for the students of the school, or is it open to the community?
We usually give to the school, our neighboring school. And I believe the name has changed because now it's multiple schools within the building. But I don't want to say the wrong name.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think it's been a productive meeting. Hopefully it turns into a Hollywood movie with a happy ending. And put our efforts and our time and, as you said, our relationships and goodwill and try and come into a resolution. I was touched by your comments. And hopefully now that they are more aware that of what's happening, that we can all speaking on these agreeable voices and minds, that we can all come into a happy solution. So thank you once again for the courage, especially your mother. So gonna call the meeting to order. Someone puts a motion on the floor. I know someone has it. Robert puts a motion on the floor to
second.
And then our chair, Jamirna Escobar, has seconded. So meeting is over. Good night. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Good night.
Technology even worked this time.
Yeah. Gotta look back.
About resources, did you get the